Part 131. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 1302. The New Year's Eve dinner couldn't go on anymore. Zhang Chen walked over and called out to Tan Shehen. Tan Shehen turned around and walked out the door. Zhang Chen turned around and saw Lu Ligan sitting there with his head hanging down, knowing that he was of no use anymore, so he told Lao Tan and Meng Ping to take care of him here. Meng Ping nodded, and Lao Tan waved to him and said, "Go quickly and don't cause any trouble." Zhang Chen ran outside. There was no one outside. He walked along the garden outside and ran to the beach in front. At this time, there were already many people on the beach and several bonfires. They were all staying in their hotel. For guests, even the bonfire is helped by the hotel. Zhang Chen didn't see Xiao Zhao or Tan Shehen on the beach. He ran back to Jinling Resort along the beach, went upstairs and went to his room first. He didn't see anyone. Then he went to Xiaofang and He Hongmei's room and knocked on the door. After knocking on the door, Xiaofang ran over and opened the door for him. When he walked in, he saw He Hongmei and Xiao Zhao were there, and Xiang Nan was sobbing. When Xiao Zhao saw him, he said, "Go and see Sister Shehen." Zhang Chen came out, went to Tan Shehen's room, and knocked on the door. No one answered. Zhang Chen rang the doorbell and called, "Tan Shehen, open the door." The door opened suddenly, and Tan Shehen looked at him with tears in her eyes and shouted, "What are you doing here?" Zhang Chen ignored her and walked in. He saw two suitcases opened and spread out on the bed. Tan Shehen was obviously packing her things. "Tan Shehen, what are you doing?" Zhang Chen asked. "We are so disliked here. If we don't realize what's going on, go back immediately," Tan Shehen cried. Zhang Chen scolded, "Tan Shehen, have you figured out who doesn't want to see you? That's my hotel there. Xiao Zhao, or my parents, did you say that you were still Xiongnan, or Teacher Tan? That old Liu's brain is broken, and you are broken too. It's just the pole, did he say anything?" "I just think it's pointless to stay here any longer," Tan Shehen said. "It would be meaningless if you left," Zhang Chen said. "Tan Shehen, let me tell you, so far, this matter is still a small matter. If you leave, it will be a big deal. Xiang Nan is right. That old Lu is an alcoholic. Just because of the words of an alcoholic, if he is still sitting there and continuing to drink, you are going to cause an uproar? Come on, tell me. You leave here tomorrow, what are you going to do next? Will you resign when you return to Hangzhou?" "Resign, resign," Tan Shehen said angrily. "Just resign? Just for one sentence?" Zhang Chen laughed. "When did you, Tan Shehen, become so fragile? Are you still the Tan Shehen I know?" "Why is it just one sentence?" Tan Shehen asked, glaring at him. "Don't stare at me, I know you are big-eyed and thief," Zhang Chen said. Tan Shehen couldn't help laughing, and burst into laughter. She laughed but felt that she shouldn't laugh, so she kicked Zhang Chen angrily. Zhang Chen took out two tissues and handed them to her, and said to her, "Wipe your tears quickly, it's so ugly." "I want you to take care of it," Tan Shehen scolded, but she still took the tissue and wiped her tears. "Okay, let's continue the previous topic. Tan Shehen, tell me, why is it not a matter of one sentence?" Zhang Chen asked. Tan Shehen stood there silently. "Come on, let's explain this matter clearly now. I said it's a matter of one sentence, and it's also a sentence of the drunkard Lu. If you say it's not, then what do you think it is?" Zhang Chen urged. "Road." Tan Shehen thought for a while, and what Zhang Chen said seemed to be true, but she just felt that it was not a one-sentence matter. She said, "I just don't think it is that simple." "How complicated is that?" "Things will only get complicated if you leave. Sit down, Tan Shehen, sit down and let us straighten things out." Tan Shahen sat down on the edge of the bed opposite Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen said to her, in today's matter, first, am I right? Second, is the poll right? Third, Xiang Nan is not wrong either. What you said is a true expression. Fourth, you are right. In that situation, if you don't hit her, others will think you are wrong. Do you agree with what I said? Tan Shahen nodded. And fifth, this is the most important. Teacher Tan was not wrong. He stood up to propose a toast. It was a good intention. To be honest, it was beyond our expectations. At that time, Ganzi and I saw him making a toast to Lao Lu. Walking away, the two of them were still very excited. Don't tell me you weren't, I saw it and you saw it too. What's wrong with this is that Lao Lu shouldn't have said that. Even if that's what he thought in his heart, he shouldn't have said that on that occasion. I would also say this in front of the poll and Lao Lu. Explain. Well, from your point of view, you did nothing wrong, but you left on your own. What does this mean? This is to prove that what Lao Lu said is true, and to expose you, so you are ashamed. Are you running away? We have nothing to escape, Tan Shahen said. Yes, you have nothing to escape, so what do you pack? Zhang Chen asked. Tan Shahen was speechless, looked at Zhang Chen, and said angrily, you bastard, you got me in. Zhang Chen laughed and said, it's not that I got in. The truth is in my hands. You can only retreat steadily. Tan Shahen sighed and said, Zhang Chen, I just feel sad and don't want to stay here. What are you sad about? You don't know, Zhang Chen, Nan Nan has grown so big, and I haven't even touched her with a finger. Zhang Chen nodded, yes, you should be blamed for this. Why do you blame me? It's your fault for making her look like yourself, Tan Shahen, tell the truth. Did you want to scold Lao Lu at that time? Zhang Chen asked. Tan Shahen lowered her head and thought for a moment, then smiled and said, she really thought about it. Then what I said is correct. Moreover, Teacher Tan should be very proud. Although he was ridiculed by old Lu, he must be very proud that his granddaughter defended him so much, Zhang Chen said. Tan Shahen thought about it, it was really like this. Tan Shahen, what makes you most sad is probably because you hit Xiang Nan, right? Tan Shahen had to admit, she said, it seems so. Then tonight, tell her why you had to beat her. But after beating her, you feel very sad. Tell her your truest feelings. Xiangnan is a smart child. She will understand. If you don't tell her anything, this matter will probably bring a shadow to her. Tan Shahen nodded, okay. Tan Shahen, will you still leave? Zhang Chen asked. You have made the matter so serious, can I still leave? Tan Shahen asked. Yes, if you leave and make things worse, Xiao Zhao and I won't be able to live a good life this year, Zhang Chen said. Okay, in order to let you have a good new year, I promise not to leave. Are you satisfied now? Tan Shahen asked. I'm satisfied, Zhang Chen said, then we have an agreement. It's a deal. Zhang Chen stood up and said to Tan Shahen, let's go. What? Tan Shahen asked. Let's go see Teacher Tan. He might be packing his luggage like you now, Zhang Chen said. When Zhang Chen said this, Tan Shahen felt that it was really possible. She quickly stood up and said to Zhang Chen, let's go. Zhang Chen pointed at his face and said, you're not going to take off your makeup, so you're going to go there with such a cat face. Get out, Tan Shahen cursed and walked to the bathroom. Coming out of the bathroom, Tan Shahen showed the left and right side of her face to Zhang Chen, look, is it okay now? Zhang Chen nodded, okay, let's go with your face glowing. Zhang Chen and Tan Shahen arrived at Lao Tan's room on the first floor and rang the doorbell. Mrs. Tan came to open the door. They walked in and saw Lao Tan sitting there, watching the Spring Festival Gala. To Zhang Chen and Tan Shahan's surprise, Lao Tan and the others did not pack their luggage. Seeing Zhang Chen and the others come in, Lao Tan took the remote control and turned down the volume of the TV. Zhang Chen and Lao Tan said, "Teacher Tan, I'm so sorry." Lao Tan looked at Zhang Chen and said, "What are you sorry for? This matter has nothing to do with you. It's not like you are talking nonsense." Zhang Chen and Tan Shahan said, "You see, Teacher Tan is smarter than you." Tan Shahan said yes. She asked Lao Tan, "You guys, haven't you ever thought about leaving? You want to leave? Isn't the ticket back to the 8th day of the Lunar New Year? Why are you leaving now?" Lao Tan asked doubtfully. Tan Shahan and Zhang Chen looked at each other and laughed. Lao Tan understood, and he asked, "Do you think that because of a few words from that drunkard, would I leave in a fit of anger?" Zhang Chen and Tan Shahan nodded repeatedly. "If I leave, won't I be convinced of what that drunkard said? Sanya is so good, of course we have to stay here. We are Zhang Chen's guests, not that drunkard, nor his son's guests." "We why go?" Lao Tan said. Domineering, Zhang Chen and Tan Shahan said, "You see, the realms of old Tan and Xiao Tan are just different." "You," Tan Shahan cursed. "I haven't settled the score with you yet," Lao Tan and Tan Shahan said. "You want to settle accounts with me?" Tan Shahan didn't understand. "Why do you want to fight Nanan?" Lao Tan stared at Tan Shahan and asked. Tan Shahan was at a loss for words. Zhang Chen quickly interrupted and said, "Teacher Tan, are you a little proud after hearing Xiang Nan's actions?" Lao Tan laughed and said, "She just knows right from wrong better than her mother. Yes, this is not an ordinary show of strength to Xiang Nan, and it's not the first time. She is in school now, and she is a celebrity. No one dares to mess with her," Zhang Chen said. "What's wrong with Nanan?" Mrs. Tan asked. Zhang Chen told them about Xiangnan's beating of curly hair at school for Zhang Xiangbei's sake. "That's how you become famous in one battle," Zhang Chen said. Both Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan laughed. Zhang Chen looked at his watch and said, "Teacher Tan, you haven't eaten dinner yet. How about we go eat again? I'll ask them to open a small box." Lao Tan quickly said, "No need to go to such trouble. We haven't eaten enough either. How can we not be full at this New Year's Eve dinner?" I asked them to open a private room and we went there and watched the Spring Festival Gala while eating. Xiang Nan and Xiao Zhao didn't eat well either, so I asked them to come together. After Zhang Chen finished speaking, he called Cao Minfang and asked her if she had a private room now. Cao Minfang said that 3 guests had left. Zhang Chen asked her to prepare one for them immediately and they would go there now. "Shall I order the food for you, Mr. Zhang?" Cao Minfang asked. Zhang Chen said yes, just order it for us. "Thank you, book friend 201912162129445008 for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 1303. Zhang Chen then picked up the phone, called Xiao Fang and his friend's room, and told Xiao Zhao to call his parents, Hong Mei and Xiao Fang, and go to the largest private room in the hotel. They couldn't eat half of the New Year's Eve dinner. Xiao Zhao said, "Okay, where are you now?" "In Teacher Tan's room," Zhang Chen said. "Okay, you go over first, and we'll call our parents and come over," Xiao Zhao said. Zhang Chen took Tan Shahan and the 3 of them out and saw Lao Tan and Meng Ping sitting in the lobby. Zhang Chen asked, "Have you all eaten?" Meng Ping said, "Okay, you haven't eaten much yet." Zhang Chen nodded and said, "I will take them there right away." Lao Tan came over and told Teacher Tan and Tan Shahan, "Just a few crazy words, don't take them to heart." Teacher Tan and Tan Shahan both nodded. Zhang Chen and Meng Ping said, "You can have fun. You can go to the beach in front of our hotel." If you want bonfires and barbecues, ask the front desk. The bonfires and barbecues in Zhangchen's hotel are usually very popular. Those who come for meetings and trainings don't like to party on the beach. They have set up several bonfires and barbecue spots on the beach in front, with dedicated people responsible for cleaning and cleaning. When Li Yang and Qian Fang heard this, they all stood up and walked over there with Zhang Chen and the others. Lao Tan and Er Guo said, "Go call Tianlin and Wu Ziyawai and tell them to go over there." Beach. Everyone walked to Banmuishan Resort Hotel. Zhang Chen told the manager on duty in the lobby that you can provide them with whatever they need. The manager on duty said yes. Cao Minfang was coming down from upstairs. When she saw Zhang Chen, she came over and told him that the box was ready. "Do you want to go up now?" Zhang Chen asked Cao Minfang to lead Tan Shahen and the three of them up first. Zhang Chen pulled Meng Ping aside and asked, "Did you see the Pole?" Meng Ping said, "We went back to the hotel together earlier." "How is he?" "What else can I do? I'm so frustrated." Zhang Chen sighed, and said, "Maybe it's destiny. Originally, I thought that when he went back this time, he and his wife would be able to achieve perfect results. I didn't expect that this old drunkard would come out and stab him. Forget it, I'll comfort him first." "Okay, let's go back later and we'll talk to the Pole." Meng Ping said yes, and that was all. "You should appease your wife first. The key now is for her not to think too much about the Pole. It's his father. Those words are quite unpleasant. Most people can't stand it, let alone your wife," Meng Ping said. Zhang Chen shook his head and said, "I'm not worried about her now. She can still speak her mind. If not, I can still scold her." "What do you mean?" Meng Ping asked. "You mean her parents reacted too much?" "It's better than I thought. Otherwise, no one can persuade teacher Tan's temper." Zhang Chen shook his head and said, "Besides, Tan Shahen's parents can't suppress her. What Tan Shahen really wants to do, they can't do it. There is no way. I am worried about her daughter now." "Southward?" "Yes, this little girl has a tougher character than Tan Shahen. If she doesn't accept Lu Ligan because of this, Tan Shahen will not be able to let go. Tan Shahen's destiny is to go south," Zhang Chen said. "This little girl can't do it," Meng Ping said. "She usually has a good relationship with the Pole." "Why not? That was normal times. Don't forget that she has a father. She already has a person in her heart. After today, I'm afraid the Pole's status in her heart will plummet. This little girl is so similar to Tan Shahen." Meng Ping nodded, feeling that it made sense. Erhuo, Li Yang, and Lao Tan have already got what they need. They put 2 baskets of things. 2 security guards helped them lift one basket. Erhuo and Li Yang lifted the other basket. Lao Tan taking the barbecue grill, a large group of people went out. As soon as they went out, Xiao Zhao led Zhang Chen and his parents, as well as Xiao Fang Xiashu, Xiang Nan Xiangbei and He Hungmei, and walked in. Meng Ping and Zhang Chen said, "You go to eat first and then talk after eating." Zhang Chen said yes. They did not take the elevator, but walked up a spiral staircase in the lobby to the 2nd floor. A large group of people walked into the box and saw Teacher Tan, Mrs. Tan and Tan Shahen sitting there. As soon as Tan Shahen saw Xiang Nan, and shouted, "Nanan, come to mother." Xiang Nan snorted and turned away. Tan Shahen stood up and came over to hold her hand, but she ducked behind Xiao Fang in advance. Tan Shahen was stunned for a moment, looked at Zhang Chen, and shook her head with a wry smile. Mrs. Tan shouted, "Nanan, come to grandma." Xiang Nan walked over and sat between Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan. After everyone sat down, Lao Zhang and Lao Tan said, "Teacher Tan, that's what Lao Lu is like. His brain is burned out by alcohol. He talks nonsense all day long. What did he say? If you ask him now, he himself you may not even remember it, so don't take it to heart. Lao Tan nodded and said, how could I argue with him? If I argue with him, I will have to pay for it in person. Lao Zhang looked at Xiang Nan and said with a smile, Nan Nan is good. You know how to protect grandpa at such a young age. That's right, Zhang Chen's mother said. Lao Zhang looked at Zhang Xiangbei and teased, Bai Bei, if someone bullies grandpa, will you help grandpa? Zhang Xiangbei said, yes. How can I help? Lao Zhang asked. Zhang Xiangbei jumped to the open space behind the chair, waved his right hand, and shouted loudly, Super Evolution. Bang 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 bang, I beat them all to pieces one by one. Lao Zhang didn't understand and asked, what kind of kung fu do you do? Grandpa, it's from Digimon. Those Digimon evolve once and their abilities become much stronger. Super evolution is the most powerful, Xiang Nan said. Lao Zhang chuckled, I know. By the way, Bai Bei, what if your father bullies grandpa? Lao Zhang looked at Zhang Chen and continued to tease Zhang Xiangbei. Zhang Xiangbei shook his head and sat back in his chair. He also looked at Zhang Chen and said to Lao Zhang, Grandpa, don't worry, my dad doesn't dare to bully grandpa and grandpa. Lao Zhang asked curiously, oh, why? If he bullies you, I will tell him that if you bully grandpa and grandpa, when you get old, I will bully you too. Zhang Xiangbei said, and the people in the box laughed. This is good, this one from Bai Bei is better than any other kung fu, Old Tan said with a smile. After eating, everyone went downstairs. Zhang Chen, He Hongmei and the others said, Qian Fang and the others were having a barbecue on the beach in front, you should go too. He Hongmei and Xiao Fang Xiaoshu, leading Xiang Nan to the north, ran out as soon as they heard this. Zhang Chen leaned into Xiao Zhao's ear and said to her, you accompany them to wander around, and I'll go and see them look at the pole. Xiao Zhao nodded. Zhang Chen walked to the door and asked the security guard, do you have a bicycle? The security guard said yes, Mr. Zhang. Lend me a ride. The security guard said yes, I will take you there. The security guard took Zhang Chen to the bicycle shed, opened his bicycle, and handed it to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen asked, when will your shift take over? It's okay, Mr. Zhang. If I'm not here, just leave the key at the reception desk. Zhang Chen said yes, thank you. He got on his bike and left. Zhang Chen arrived at Jinling Resort, went upstairs and walked to the door of Lu Ligan's room. He rang the doorbell, but no one answered. Zhang Chen knocked on the door and shouted, Pull! Pull! Still no one answered inside. Zhang Chen thought to himself that he might have gone to Lao Liu's room at this time. Zhang Chen went downstairs, walked to Lao Liu's room, and rang the doorbell. There was still no movement inside. Zhang Chen was surprised. Where would this family of three go now? Zhang Chen walked to the gate and looked outside. The beach in front of him and in front of his hotel were a different scene. It was dark and nothing could be seen. No wonder, apart from them, there were not many people here. Live, and their people have all gone over there. Zhang Chen returned to the lobby, sat down on the sofa, and dialed Lu Ligan's number. The phone was turned off. Zhang Chen thought to himself, could they all go there too? He dialed Meng Ping's number. The phone rang twice and was picked up. Zhang Chen asked, Meng Ping, did the pole go there? No, Meng Ping said, what's wrong, Zhang Chen? I went to the pole's room. No one was there, not even his parents. Where would this family of three go? Zhang Chen said. Zhang Chen, where are you now? Meng Ping asked. It's right in the lobby of the hotel where we live. Okay, I'll be right over, Meng Ping said. Zhang Chen waited for more than 10 minutes. Meng Ping and Lao Tan came over. The three of them first went to Lao Liu's room and knocked on the door, but there was no one. Then they went to Lu Ligan's room upstairs and knocked on the door, but there was still no one. People. The three people returned to sit in the lobby below. Lao Tan said that it was strange. Logically speaking, they couldn't go anywhere. Lao Lu, who had been drinking in the front, couldn't even stand still. Meng Ping stood up and walked to the main desk, asked, and came back to tell them that they didn't know either. Zhang Chen thought for a while and asked Meng Ping, who else hasn't gone there? Wu Ziyawai's parents and Wei Wenfang's parents didn't go. They said they wanted to watch the Spring Festival Gala in the room. By the way, Lao Ni and the others didn't go either, Meng Ping said. When Zhang Chen heard this, he immediately picked up the phone and dialed Lao Ni. Zhang Chen asked, Mr. Ni, where are you? I'm at the airport, sending the pole back to them, Lao Ni said. Ah, Zhang Chen was shocked and shouted quickly, Mr. Ni, just wait, we will come right away. We're right back. The Poles and the others are already on the plane. Can you call them back? Zhang Chen asked anxiously. It's impossible. When we came out, the plane had already entered the runway and should have taken off by now, Lao Ni said. He said the Pole. It's better for them to leave. They must use my plane, so I made arrangements. Zhang Chen put down the phone and looked at Meng Ping and Lao Tan. Meng Ping said, maybe it's the right thing to do. In this way, no matter how bad things get, they won't be much worse. Lao Tan said, what Lao Meng said makes sense. Zhang Chen, don't think so much. In the early morning, Zhang Chen's phone rang, and Lu Ligan's tired voice came from the phone, Zhang Chen, I've arrived in Hangzhou. Why the hell did you run back without saying a word? We are still looking for you everywhere, Zhang Chen cursed. Lu Ligan said helplessly, then what else can I do? Otherwise, I don't know what will happen next. By the way, how about Zhen Zhen? She's fine here. That's good, Zhang Chen, you guys have fun. By the way, Pole, drop off the old man and the old lady. You can take Lao Ni's plane back, or you can take civil aviation at dawn. I will pick you up at the airport. Forget it, Lu Ligan said with a bitter smile. The old lady and the old man were having a big fight. They wanted to have a good spring festival, but he was ruined by this drunkard. If I leave, I'm afraid they will fight. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes at around 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you to Muren, Gu Chan, Abie Su, and 1997 Orange for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1304. In the following days, Zhang Chen and the others lived like pigs, doing nothing but eating and sleeping every day. Probably because of the climate, they quickly adapted to the life rhythm of Sanya people, that is, they don't feel it's late at night, and they don't feel late in the morning. Even those who were in the mainland, they couldn't stand it every day, and they would wake up at 9 o'clock in the evening. The old people who want to go to bed now don't go to bed until early in the morning. They joke to themselves that they sleep too much during the day. Yes, the weather is so hot during the day and the sun is so fierce that it seems to have sunk the sea. What else can I do besides sleeping in an air-conditioned room? Every morning, it's almost 10 o'clock when they wake up. They go downstairs or on the street to have morning tea. It's noon. It doesn't matter whether they eat at noon or not. What they need more is a nap. It's already 4 o'clock when they wake up. Wait until the sun sets, then you can go to the sea or swim in the swimming pool. At this time, the person who had been groggy all day seemed to feel a little more awake, and the confusion dissipated with the sunshine. A day in Sanya always starts in the evening. Have dinner at 7 o'clock. After dinner, you can go to the beach, hang out at the night market on Hedong Road, or go singing. At about 11 o'clock, you start to eat supper. This supper seems to be the most worthy of solemnity. In fact, it is also the most important meal of the day. After eating the late-night snack, I returned to the hotel and it was not yet time to go to bed. Some played cards, some played mahjong, and some chatted. It wasn't until 2 or 3 o'clock that sleepiness crept up. I needed another shower, and then I fell down to sleep. The most excited and active people every day are the children below Xiaofangxiashu. Sometimes He Hongmei will also participate. They are always in high spirits no matter day or night. They follow the second-rate people to go diving and go to the ends of the earth. Sea World, watch the dolphin show. What excited them the most was that Huo told them that he had already contacted them and could go to sea with the base's ships tomorrow, which made Zhang Xiangbei and Chu Tianlin's sons scream. The people in the car left in high spirits. When they came back, their faces were all green and they looked swaying and weak. They stood there like dominoes that would fall if they touched them with their fingers. Xiao Zhao, Tan Shuhen, Cao Ziahe, Chu Tianlin and other mothers quickly asked, "What's wrong?" It's okay," the idiot said with a smile, "everyone who goes to sea on a warship for the first time will be like this." After the bad guy told them, the mothers realized that it was seasickness. They vomited from the sea to the land, and then vomited all the way back to the hotel. "Stop talking, I'm going to vomit again," He Hongmei shouted. Before she finished speaking, Yuan and Chu Tianlin's son started vomiting again. At the end of the day, the second-hand guy asked Zhang Xiangbei and Chu Tianlin's son if they wanted to go to the warship. The two of them shook their heads and hid behind them as if they had been burned. The second-hand guy laughed. On the 8th day of the Lunar New Year, the bus took them to the airport. Everyone said goodbye at the airport. Meng Ping and his party returned to Nanjing, Xiao Zhao and He Hongmei went to Beijing, Huo and his family went to Shanghai, and more people were follow Zhang Chen back to Hangzhou. After returning to Hangzhou, Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan stayed at the International Building in Hangzhou for another night. Tan Shuhen took them to see the terraced houses by the Meisi River, and then took them to the furniture store to choose furniture. When sending them to the station the next day, Tan Shuhen repeatedly told them to pack their things when they got back. Don't bring too many things, just prepare some changes of clothes. You can buy other things here and put them at home before returning to Yangzhou. It can also be used when traveling in the city. You don't even need to bring a change of clothes, just pack a few bags that can be put in my car, that's it. Do you understand? Tan Shuhen asked. She knew that if she didn't confess, her mother would be eager to bring the pots and bowls. Even if she confessed, they would secretly stuff as many things as possible into each bag. Mrs. Tan nodded repeatedly. Tan Shuhen has decided that she does not need to listen to Lu Ligan's opinion. She wants to move her parents from Yongcheng to Hangcheng. She doesn't care whether Lu Ligan moves to the Meisi River or not. Anyway, she has decided to move her parents to Hangzhou. Moved over. As long as the furniture here is delivered and the appliances are installed, Tan Shuhen will go to Yongcheng to pick up her parents. After returning from Sanya, Tan Shuhen saw Lu Ligan again. Although the two of them still went in and out together, although Tan Shuhen knew that the things in Sanya had nothing to do with Lu Ligan, she felt that there was something more between them, two people. The relationship has become a bit stiff. Sometimes I feel a little awkward when I am with Lu Lizan, and there is no longer that casual and comfortable feeling. Including in the company, Tan Shuhen would naturally think about it before saying something. She seemed to shrink back. It seemed that it was only now that she figured out her position in the company. Lu Ligan, she is her own boss, and she is just a part-time worker. She no longer has many things to do like before, and there is no need to ask Lu Ligan for his opinion. Even if Lu Ligan explicitly opposed it, she would break it off. Even the people in the company and Lao Tan are aware of this. In the past, if they asked Tan Shuhen if they had something to do, Tan Shahan would tell them directly whether it was okay or not. Now, she is more like, just ask about it. Mr. Lu, or you can call Mr. Lu directly. Tan Shahan's attitude towards Lu Ligan became polite and respectful. Lu Ligan felt that he was everywhere in the company now and no longer seemed to be ignored, but his heart was filled with sadness. Tan Shahan and Lu Ligan both understood and felt the change between them, but no one said anything. Everyone just endured the change in silence. Lao Tan looked worried, but had no choice, so he went to talk to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen talked with Lu Ligan. Lu Ligan said with a wry smile, I don't know what to do now. It was Lao Lu who did it. I can't bring Lao Lu in front of her and beat her up. You're right. Right, Zhang Chen? Zhang Chen talked to Tan Shahan. Zhang Chen talked for a long time. Tan Shahan looked at Zhang Chen and asked, isn't it supposed to be like this, Zhang Chen? In the past, I thought it was because I was ignorant and too self-assertive. Now I understand the distinction and boundaries between me and him. Aren't all the general managers below you doing this? Who can climb up? On your head? In one sentence, Zhang Chen had nothing to say. Yes, Tan Shahan had always emphasized that she and Lu Ligan had nothing to do with each other. She had never said anything about the possibility of them. It was all about Lu Ligan or Zhang Chen. Expectations what happened or felt should happen was not what Tan Shahan promised would happen. Xiao Zhao went to Beijing and has not come back yet. Zhang Chen, Lu Ligan, and Tan Shahan will still have dinner together, but when they eat, they are no longer as relaxed as before. Tan Shahan rarely talks to Lu Ligan. They no longer brought the company's affairs back to talk with Zhang Chen, but finished the discussion in the company. More often, it was Tan Shahan talking to Zhang Chen, and Lu Ligan also told him that the situation seemed a bit deliberate and forced, and people quickly understood that the days of everyone eating from the same pot were numbered. This made Zhang Chen feel very angry, but he didn't know who to direct his anger at. Zhang Chen really wanted to kick them all out, stay alone in the office, and have a quiet meal with the door closed, but he knew that if he hadn't been there, these two people would probably not be able to have a meal together now. He has become a glue that can barely allow them to sit together, a sustaining president. What shocked Lu Ligan even more was that when Tan Shahan and the others saw him again after they came back from Sanya, Xiang Nan's face and her movements were cold, and she ignored Lu Ligan. When Lu Ligan wanted to, when you get close to her, she will stand there and look at you steadily. Her gaze is like a knife, which stabs Lu Ligan to the point where he has to stop and not continue. Regarding Lu Ligan, Tan Shahan and her daughter actually had a late-night conversation. Tan Shahan did not tell anyone about this conversation, including Zhang Chen. Xiang Nan asked Tan Shahan, Mom, do you want to get along with that person? Which person? That's the guy, you know, whose dad scolded Grandpa. Of course Tan Shahan knows. Tan Shahan said, Mom has told you a long time ago that the relationship between me and him is that of superior and subordinate. He is my boss. It's best this way, Xiang Nan said. What's the meaning? Xiang Nan continued, without answering the topic directly, but said, Mom, you can be good with him. It doesn't matter if you are good with him. I will go to Dad's place. In the dark night, Tan Shahan stood there stunned. This is a soft, hidden threat, haha. More than a week later, that night, the three of them had dinner in Zhang Chen's office again. Tan Shahan and Lu Ligan said, I'm going to ask for leave tomorrow. Lu Ligan said, okay. Zhang Chen could only complete the question. He asked Tan Shahan, why are you asking for leave? The house by the Meisi River is ready. I'm going back to Yongchen to pick up my parents, Tan Shahan said, and Lu Ligan was startled. Zhang Chen, starting from the day after tomorrow, I will move in with my parents. You can arrange the house here for other people, Tan Shahan said. Zhang Chen looked at Lu Ligan. Lu Ligan kept his head down and kept eating. Zhang Chen said yes. Also, Zhang Chen, let me tell you first. When Xiao Zhao comes back, I will tell her again. What? Zhang Chen asked. I want to go south and move back to live with my parents. Zhang Chen, don't get me wrong. I have no other intentions. The main reason is that my parents are here and they have nothing else to do, so I just let them pick up and drop off the children. Zhang Chen waved his hand, no need to explain. Originally, it was natural for her to follow her mother and grandparents. I'm worried about whether Xiangbei will. It's okay, I will talk to him, Zhang Chen said. Besides, aren't they still in the same school? That's true. Zhang Chen looked up at Tan Shahen and asked, is there anything else? Tan Shahen shook her head, no more. If you have nothing to do, just eat well. Today's fried pork liver was good. Did you see that I've already eaten more than half of the plate? Zhang Chen said. Lu Li broke the chopsticks in his hand with a snap, slapped it on the table, stood up and walked out. Tan Shahen was stunned for a moment, but Zhang Chen remained indifferent and continued to eat. Is he angry? Tan Shahen asked Zhang Chen. What do you think? Zhang Chen, are you angry too? No, I just want to hang you two up and beat you hard with a whip, Zhang Chen said. Thank you, book friend 201710181457487227 for the reward. Thank you, book friend 2017062208151145 for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening, everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 1305. Tan Shahen moved to Misi River, and Lu Ligan still lived upstairs in the dynamic zone. After Tan Shahen moved, Mrs. Tan started a party at home and invited Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao's parents to dinner. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao also went well. During this meal, we talked about returning to my grandparents' house in the south. Adults all take this for granted. Emotionally, Zhang Chen's parents are very reluctant to let go. For so many years, they have always treated Xiangnan as their granddaughter. When they first heard that she was leaving, Zhang's mother's eyes suddenly filled with tears. I was red, but I also knew that this was something that couldn't be stopped. Unexpectedly, the two children started to quarrel at that time, shouting to Xiangnan, no, 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 I still have to take care of Zhang Xiangbei. I'm gone. Who will take care of Zhang Xiangbei? There are many things that grandparents don't understand, so once you've cheated, you've been cheated. Tan Shahen and Xiao Zhao laughed and said, then you can still control him for the rest of your life. Xiang Nan said that when grandma and grandma are as old as grandma, just like grandma still takes care of grandpa and grandma still takes care of grandpa, I can still take care of Zhang Xiangbei. People in the room laughed, and Xiangnan became anxious. She pointed at Zhang Xiangbei and said, Zhang Xiangbei, tell yourself, is it because your sister doesn't care about you that you can't do anything well? You don't want to play the ball well either. Qin doesn't want to practice well, and she doesn't want to do her homework well either. Zhang Xiangbei nodded repeatedly and said, I don't care anyway. If my sister is not here, I won't even play ball, practice the piano, or do my homework. I won't even eat. I'll starve myself, die. Although the child's words were unbridled, the adults in the room were moved. They also felt that it was too pitiful for a child to be alone. If two people were together, they would at least have a companion. Tan Shahen and Xiao Zhao couldn't bear it at first. Everyone finally came up with a solution, that is, from Sunday night to Friday night, they would still live in the Jingxiu home from south to north, so that it would be convenient for them to go to and from school. On Friday and Saturday nights, the two of them lived by the Misi River. Tan Shahen could take them to practice football and piano. Tan Shahen and Zhang Chen Xiao Zhao said, your Sundays are not accurate. Well, I have to work overtime. I'm free on Saturdays and Sundays, so leave it to me. The two children also agreed to this arrangement. Anyway, as long as they were together, it didn't matter where they lived. Mother Zhang also breathed a sigh of relief. Teacher Tan and Mrs. Tan felt from the bottom of their hearts that they could only live together for a year. I have seen the south face once or twice, and now I am very satisfied. Everyone is happy. The next day, Mrs. Tan said she wanted to invite colleagues from Tan Shahan's work unit to have dinner at home. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao were also there. Tan Shahan said, "Then I'll ask Gang Zi to come too. It can't be said that everyone else is here and the boss is not here." Teacher Tan sat silently and flipped through the newspaper. In his opinion, he felt that this was his daughter's home after all, and he could ignore many things as long as he could. It was no better than at his own home in Yongcheng. Of course he was parents. Mrs. Tan said, "Just scream." Tan Shahan and Lu Ligan talked about the meal, called Zhang Chen, and then called Lao Yang. Although Lao Yang was no longer from their company, he had worked in their company. The most important thing was that he was an old acquaintance. Have something to say with Teacher Tan and Mrs. Tan, and no matter what, in the eyes of Teacher Tan and Mrs. Tan, Zhang Chen is always the younger generation, but Lao Yang is not the same. Tan Shahan calculated that with Lao Yang present, Lu Ligan would not be so embarrassed, and the whole dining atmosphere would not be so stiff. As soon as Lao Yang heard that Teacher Tan and Mrs. Tan were here, they had dinner together in the evening. Lao Yang said, "Okay, I must come to eat this meal." Tan Shahan, "Even if you hit me with a broom, you won't drive me away." Tan Shahan deliberately went home 2 hours early to help her mother prepare. When the time came, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao came, Lao Tan and Yao Fen, and 2 other colleagues from the company also arrived, but only Lu Ligan did not come. Zhang Chen quietly asked Tan Shahan, "Didn't you call the poll?" "I screamed," Tan Shahan said. When I asked Lao Tan again, Lao Tan said that Zhuangzi knew he was going to eat here. When we left the office together, I thought he should have arrived earlier than me. Xiao Zhao was on the side, smiling with her lips pursed while listening to their conversation. Zhang Chen and Lao Tan both looked at her. Zhang Chen asked in confusion, "Why are you laughing?" Xiao Zhao said, "When you go to your mother-in-law's house, you always go empty-handed." Zhang Chen and Lao Tan suddenly realized and laughed. That's right, Lu Ligan must have gone to the supermarket to buy something. But when Lao Yang arrived in a panic, he shouted as soon as he entered the door, "Lao Tan, Lao Tan." The 2 old men in the room turned around and looked at him. Old Yang burst into laughter and said, "Okay, this will make a mistake. Teacher Tan, I'm sorry, I was delayed by several students' parents, so I'm late," Lao Yang said. Teacher Tan smiled and said, "When you, Mr. Yang, call me Teacher Tan, why do I feel that I am getting old immediately? I can't help it." "Who asked you all to have the surname Tan?" Lao Yang pointed at Lao Tan and said. Everyone laughed. The dishes were all served, but Lu Ligan was still nowhere to be seen. Zhang Chen looked at his watch. It was already 6:30. Even if he went shopping, he should have been back by now. Zhang Chen, Lao Tan, and Xiao Zhao looked at each other and stood up. He walked out and called Lu Ligan, but his phone was turned off. Zhang Chen walked back. Lao Tan and Xiao Zhao both looked at him. Zhang Chen shook his head slightly. Both of them understood that things were not that simple. Tan Shahan also saw it, but she didn't say anything. Instead, she asked everyone to come to the table. "Come on, let's start the meal." Everyone avoided this meal. It seemed that even Yao Fen and 2 other colleagues tacitly understood it, and no one mentioned Lu Ligan. Even Lao Yang's quick talk didn't say that. As soon as he saw Lu Ligan's absence and thought about the history between Lu Ligan and Tan Shahan, he knew that Lu Ligan had to miss today's dinner. Lu Ligan didn't show up until they finished eating. After finishing the meal, Lao Yang still sat here and continued chatting. The other people sat for a while and left. When they walked outside, Lao Tan and Zhang Chen Xiaozhao asked, "What's going on with this pole?" Zhang Chen thought for a while and said, "Xiaozhao, take your brother's car back and I'll go upstairs to the dynamic zone to take a look." Both Lao Tan and Xiaozhao agreed. Zhang Chen arrived upstairs at the dynamic zone. He saw Ji Yiling and the others were still working overtime in the design center. Su Qiaxin and his foreign trade company on the second floor were also brightly lit. Only the dormitory building was dark, and even the lights in Lu Ligan's room were dark. Zhang Chen thought for a while, then walked over, knocked on the door, and shouted, "Pole, it's me." The lights in the room turned on, and then the door opened. Thick smoke rolled out. Zhang Chen walked in and saw that the ashtray on the coffee table was full of cigarette butts. "What's wrong with you?" Zhang Chen asked. "Nothing happened," Lu Ligan muttered. "We were all waiting for you, but you burned incense here alone. Are you worshipping yourself as a bodhisattva?" Zhang Chen said. "Tan Shahen didn't call you." Called. Lu Ligan picked up the water glass on the coffee table and took a sip. "Then why didn't you go?" Zhang Chen asked. Lu Ligan was silent. After a while, he said, "I'm tired." Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment and then fell silent. The two of them sat and finished smoking 2 cigarettes. Lu Ligan said, "I'm hungry. Come with me to Tuxianjiayuan for dinner." Zhang Chen said yes. The two of them stood up, went out, went downstairs, and arrived at the parking lot. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan said, "Take my car and I will drive." Lu Ligan said yes. When Zhang Chen was almost driving to Dexu Road, he called Tan Shahen and told her, "I'm almost at the door of your company, come out." Tan Shahen smiled and said, "Then just come in." "Why, you don't know my office, and you still need me to wait for you at the gate?" "I have something to ask you, so don't be nagging and come out." After Zhang Chen finished speaking, he hung up the phone. Zhang Chen drove to the entrance of Qiashi Academy and saw Tan Shahen standing at the door waiting for him. Zhang Chen pressed the window and told Tan Shahen to get in the car. Tan Shahen walked to the passenger seat, opened the door and got in the car. Zhang Chen started the car and left. He drove to the Blue Mountain Coffee on Dingan Road, got out of the car, and Tan Shahen asked, "Who else did you date?" "No one, just the two of us," Zhang Chen said. Tan Shahen smiled and said, "Just the two of us? Why are we just two here?" "Tryst," Zhang Chen said angrily, "go to my place in case Xiao Zhao sees it, and go to your place in case the Pole sees it. Is that okay?" Tan Shahen laughed and said, "Okay, then we will have a tryst." As she spoke, she came to hold Zhang Chen's hand and told him that trysts should always have the intimacy of a tryst. Zhang Chen laughed. The two people went upstairs and chose a seat by the window to sit down. Outside the window, there were buds bursting out one by one on the sparse branches of the plane tree. "Can we talk now?" Tan Shahen looked at Zhang Chen and asked. "Aren't you surprised that the pole didn't go out when you had dinner at your house last night?" Zhang Chen said. "Love will come or not," Tan Shahen said. "Then do you want to know where I went after I came out of your house?" Zhang Chen asked. "I don't want to know." Tan Shahen saw Zhang Chen staring at her and said with a smile, "You will tell me anyway." "I'm speechless." Zhang Chen shook his head. "You two are even more unreasonable than Xiang Nan Xiang North." "Are they unreasonable?" "Zhang Chen, if you want to ruin your son, don't take my daughter with you." "Okay, they are naive. I mean, you two are more unpredictable than them." "I don't know what you want to do," Zhang Chen said. "I've told you what I want to do. I just want to live a good life," Tan Shahen said. "What about the Pole? He's not in your sight." "Yeah, I go to work every day and I don't always see him." Zhang Chen said, "After I left your house last night, I went upstairs to the dynamic zone. Zhan Zi was alone and smoked in the room with the lights off. He was almost crazy from smoking. I accompanied him to Tuxiang Garden for dinner. I listened to him sing hey 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 for another hour. One night, we didn't speak more than 20 sentences. Damn it, is this still a Pole? Zhang Chen looked at Tan Shahen and continued, but among the less than 20 sentences, one of his sentences scared me. He said he was tired. Tan Shahen listened to Zhang Chen's words silently. She stirred the coffee with a spoon. After Zhang Chen finished speaking, she fell silent. She looked at Tan Shahen. Tan Shahen raised her head and smiled reluctantly at Zhang Chen. She said, "Actually, he doesn't need to be so tired. Zhang Chen, you can ask him if he feels that I'm disturbing him. If so, I can walk away. No, I hope to continue working. Really, I like it very much. In this job, if he feels that my working ability is not enough to obtain my current income and position, he can make adjustments. But I think that I am doing my job and I am worthy of the salary, so I just want to continue to work well, it's that simple. Thank you for reading the book every day, and for the reward of 2 fishes at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you to 1997 Orange, I Love Purple, and Book Friend 1101152336518898 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 1306. Zhang Chen has always felt that he knows Tan Shahen best. He has been closest to Tan Shahen since they were in the troupe, and the two of them are also the most in tune with each other. However, their closeness and synchronization are all public, magnanimous, and never it will arouse the jealousy of Lu Ligan or Jin Lily. But now Zhang Chen feels that he and Tan Shahen have communication barriers. Regarding her and Lu Lipol, Zhang Chen has chatted with her many times, but Tan Shahen is like a wall. How hard Zhang Chen used it, if you hit it, it will bounce back with great force, and the wall will remain motionless. When he talked to Tan Shahen calmly, Tan Shahen would evade him lightly. When he was straightforward and even yelled at Tan Shahen would tell him straightforwardly that she had no ideas. Don't put your ideas into words. If you force yourself on me, she will yell back. The whole world thinks that you two should be together, but you can't figure it out. It's not you, it's you, Tan Shahen, but you can't figure it out, Zhang Chen scolded. Why can't I carry it clearly? The whole world thinks, then let the whole world be with him. Please, don't involve me, Tan Shahen responded to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen stared at Tan Shahen, half dead with anger. Tan Shahen looked at him and suddenly laughed. Zhang Chen felt that he had become the gazhou donkey in the middle school textbook, and there was nothing he could do to Tan Shahen. As for Lu Ligan, when he is with Zhang Chen now, he seems to talk less and less. He is like a defeated rooster, and he keeps losing, which makes Zhang Chen feel a little uncomfortable. Lao Tan and Zhang Chen said that although Tan Shahen now likes to push Lu Ligan for everything, Lu Ligan is even better. He almost doesn't care about anything. If you ask him anything, he will say, let Tan total decision. The person who had just left Tan Shahen's office to find Lu Ligan came back. When we talked about the matter again, Tan Shahen said, didn't I ask you to go find Mr. Lu? The man said, go. Mr. Lu said that he didn't care and let you decide. Since Mr. Lu said that she would decide, Tan Shahen had to make a decision and had to take over the matter. It's really dumbfounding, Lao Tan and Zhang Chen said. Sometimes, the pole disappears all day long, and no one knows where it went. Fortunately, there is Zhen Zhen in the company who is supporting her. Now she says she doesn't care. In fact, we have more control than before. Soon, Zhang Chen also discovered that when he came to work in the morning, he saw that Lu Ligan's door was closed and thought that he had gone to work. But at noon, Zhang Chen walked out of the office and suddenly saw Lu Ligan. I was squatting on the flower bed in front of my door, brushing my teeth. Suki-oxen looked strange upstairs and leaned on the railing of the corridor and asked, "Mr. Lu, are you brushing your teeth or performing a show?" One was to ridicule Lu Ligan for just getting up now, and the other was to find it strange that there was a bathroom in this room, so why did he have to go outside to brush his teeth? Lu Ligan took a sip of saliva, spit it out twice, and then pointed at the flowers and trees in the flower bed and said to Suki-oxen, "Young man, I can do more than one thing with one stone. You know, while I was brushing my teeth, I was breathing in the freshest oxygen they had just created. At the same time, if you see, I also watered the flowers. What I ate last night was seafood. You still have the aftertaste of seafood in your mouth now, it's so nutritious, they're enjoying it, you should learn to eat it." Disgusting, Suki-oxen cursed, it must be the smell of smoke. No wonder the flowers they bloom are smelly. Zhang Chen walked over and asked, "Just got up?" "Yes," Lu Ligan said. "You don't have to go to work now?" Zhang Chen asked. "I found that I have no other role in the company except creating a lot of repetitive work." "What duplication of labor?" "It means pushing the people below back and forth. Tan Shahen pushes her to me, and I push her back again. Isn't this duplication of work?" "It would be more efficient if I don't go," Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen was speechless. "It turns out that you know the company's situation well, so there is no need to remind you." Zhang Chen went back to the office. After a while, Lu Ligan came in. Without saying anything, he walked to the sofa and sat down. He slumped on the sofa, lifted his feet up and put them on the coffee table. Zhang Chen walked over and sat down on the sofa next to him. Zhang Chen said to Lu Lizan seriously, "Zanzi, maybe you and Tan Shahen have come to an end." "Okay," Lu Ligan said. "Gangzi, maybe you can try a new life," Zhang Chen said. "Okay," Lu Ligan continued. After Lu Ligan finished speaking, he stood up. Zhang Chen asked, "What are you going to do?" "Aren't you trying a new life?" Lu Ligan said, "I'll go pick up girls, and you'll treat me and my girlfriend to dinner tonight." Lu Ligan said and walked out. At almost 5 o'clock, Lu Ligan walked into Zhang Chen's office with a woman. Zhang Chen felt that the woman looked familiar, but he couldn't remember where he had seen her before. The woman stretched out her hand towards Zhang Chen with a smile and said, "Hello, Mr. Zhang, I am Wei Jian." Zhang Chen quickly shook hands with her and said, "Oh," and then he remembered that she was the host of Zhejiang Economic Channel's Economic News. After Zhang Chen's fashion show, there were several articles about the fashion show and Zhang Chen himself. The news was all reported by her. Zhang Chen had seen it, so he had an impression of it, and she had probably seen Zhang Chen from the news she reported. Although the two people have never met, they are considered familiar. Lu Ligan and Wei Jian sat down on the sofa and held hands together. Zhang Chen understood that this was the girl Lu Ligan went to pick up in the afternoon. She was really quick. Xiao Zhao came in with a floor plan. This was what Xiao Li sent her. It was a floor plan of Parkson Shopping Center in Beijing. Zhang Chen and his family had half an acre of land. They used to have a counter in Parkson, but it was in the middle of the island. During the show, the shopping mall's deputy general manager and women's clothing department manager came and decided to give them a side hall position during the adjustment in March. It's not March yet, but I have already given them the floor plan and asked them to come up with a decoration plan first. The side hall in a department store is equivalent to a store within a store. It is located next to the main channel that surrounds the business hall. It is the only place where consumers must pass. The side hall is not only a good location, but also large in area. Each room has 30 or 40 people. A square, it is easy to create an image. It turns out that Nakajima's counter is in the lobby, with 7 or 8 square meters separated by clothes hangers. It is open on all sides. The ceiling and floor are also unified in the mall. There is nothing to decorate. At most, the clothes hangers can be made more personalized. And then make some small embellishments. The side hall is different. The side hall is a storefront. From the floor to the ceiling to the 3 walls, it needs to be renovated according to your own needs. It will also have its own independent dressing room, unlike the original one. Several brands share 6 changing rooms. Many times, salespersons need to carry clothes and wait with customers outside the changing rooms. For every department store, side rooms are scarce resources that everyone is scrambling for, but in many cases, it is useless to grab them. It does not mean that they will be given to you if you have a good relationship with the mall. To the mall, side rooms are, it is also equivalent to their appearance. If you can be stationed in the side hall, you must be convincing, that is, everyone must recognize you as a well-known brand. This time, Parkson could give them a side hall, which was a recognition of their brand. Xiaoli was very happy and told Xiao Zhao that she would let Mr. Zhang design it well so that it would stun Beijing when it opens on May 1st. Xiao Zhao smiled and said, "Okay, we will try to stun you to death." Xiaoli was on the phone, laughing. Xiao Zhao walked in and saw Lu Ligan and Wei Qian sitting together. The two of them did not avoid suspicion. When they saw Xiao Zhao coming in, they still held hands together until Xiao Zhao walked over and smiled with Wei Qian. Qian shook hands, and Wei Qian let go of her hand, stood up, and stretched out her hand to shake Xiao Zhao's. After greetings, Xiao Zhao shook the floor plan in his hand and said to Zhang Chen, "Put it on your desk." Zhang Chen nodded. Xiao Zhao put the picture on the table, turned around and went out. The 3 of them, Zhang Chen, sat there and continued talking for a while. Lu Ligan looked at his watch and said to Zhang Chen, "It's almost time to go to Tuxiang Garden. I had already called Hui Huan and asked for a private room." Zhang Chen said, "Okay, then I'll call Xiao Zhao." Zhang Chen walked to Xiao Zhao's office. Xiao Zhao watched him come in and lowered his voice and asked, "What's going on with the poll and this announcer?" "Boyfriend and boyfriend," Zhang Chen said. "What about Sister Shehen?" "Tan Shehen has always stated that she has nothing to do with the poll, and she doesn't want to have anything to do with it." "Then it is impossible to say that she will stick to the poll and don't need to worry about them. If Tan Shehen can't stand it anymore, let them solve it on their own. In that way, maybe it can still be solved." "It really helped them," Zhang Chen said. Xiao Zhao snorted, "You believe it too?" "Let's go and have dinner together," Zhang Chen said. Xiao Zhao quickly shook his head and said to Zhang Chen with a grimace, "It's better not to go." "I don't want to go. I'll take Xiang Nan to North to eat KFC and watch a movie." Zhang Chen understood that Xiao Zhao did not want to get involved in this matter. No matter what Tan Shehen thought, if Xiao Zhao got involved, there would only be harm but no benefit. Xiao Zhao was right to have this concern. Zhang Chen is not afraid. "I have made it clear to you, Tan Shehen. If you still have objections to me," Zhang Chen thinks that he can scold her in turn. "Aren't you capable of doing it? I don't know how to die. Of. You yourself said that the Pole can have his own life. Now that he has his own life, you are not satisfied." Zhang Chen said, "Okay, then I will be the light bulb alone." Xiao Zhao nodded. "Yeah, you are enough alone, my dear, you are very bright, 200 watts. Zhang Chen walked out with a smile. He walked back to his office and told Lu Ligan and Wei Qian, "Let's go." "Where is Xiao Zhao?" Lu Ligan asked Zhang Chen. "She has promised Zhang Xiangbei to take them to see a movie in the evening. I don't care about her. The 3 of us will go." Zhang Chen looked at Lu Ligan and asked, "Do you think I am redundant? Otherwise, I will avoid it too." "Get out of here," Lu Ligan scolded, and Wei Qian's face turned red. Zhang Chen asked Wei Qian, "You don't have to go on the show tonight." Zhang Chen remembered that Zhejiang Economic Television's Economic Television News was a live program that started at 6:30 every day. "It's a day off today," Wei Qian said, and Zhang Chen understood. The three of them went downstairs. Lu Ligan and Wei Qian did not take Zhang Chen's car, but went to Lu Ligan's Aston Martin. The three of them ate and sang in the private room of Tuxian Jiayuan until about 10 o'clock in the evening. When they arrived at the parking lot below, Zhang Chen drove his car and was about to cross the bridge when he heard the roar of the motor behind him. Lu Ligan grabbed him and, with a change of direction, crossed the bridge in front of Zhang Chen, causing Zhang Chen to have to a sudden brake. In such a cold weather, the Aston Martin opened its hood, Lu Ligan raised his middle finger high, and Wei Qian looked back at Zhang Chen and giggled. Soon, they crossed the bridge and disappeared. Slut, Zhang Chen cursed. On the way back, after passing the dynamic zone, Zhang Chen turned into the parking lot to take a look. He saw that Lu Ligan's car was already parked here. There was no one in the car. It seemed that they had gone upstairs and were continuing to make love to each other. Slut, Zhang Chen cursed again, drove out of the parking lot and went home. Thank you for the tip that I didn't even know anyone asked. Thank you for your monthly pass in May and the demo. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 1307. At about 9 o'clock the next morning, Zhang Chen was sitting on the sofa and looking out from the open door. He saw Wei Qian hurriedly passing by his office door. Her body was stiff and she deliberately didn't look this way. Zhang Chen felt funny in his heart. He thought that if he suddenly called her at this time, she would definitely jump up and scream. At around 10 o'clock, Lu Ligan walked in. Zhang Chen looked up at him and asked, "Economic news was broadcast live all night?" "Shit," Lu Ligan said, Lianpo, am really old." Zhang Chen laughed. Lu Ligan stood up and walked out of the door. Zhang Chen looked at his back and shook his head. Zhang Chen saw that the soles of his feet were a little floating when he walked, and thought to himself, he was going downstairs to get a big bowl. The waist is patched up. Unexpectedly, Lu Ligan disappeared upstairs from the dynamic zone. He was not seen all day long. When Lu Ligan called Zhang Chen again, it was already the afternoon of the next day and he said he was in Xiamen. Gulanjiao Island, needless to say, that Wei Qian should be by his side. Zhang Chen seemed to have heard her voice. "Are you going to Xiamen to broadcast the economic news live broadcast, or is it that the night in Gulanjiao Island is quiet and the sea breeze gently shakes you?" Zhang Chen asked. Lu Ligan chuckled and didn't say yes or no. Zhang Chen concluded that it was. At 6:30 that night, Zhang Chen turned on Zhejiang economic television and took a look. Sure enough, it was not Wei Qian who was hosting it. Wei Qian was probably sitting with Lu Ligan in a hotel in Xiamen at this time. This time, it seemed that Lu Ligan was really hosting the show. It fell into the flowers. Lu Ligan went away for several days but did not come back. Zhang Chen wanted to know if Tan Shahen knew about this matter and how she would react. He drove to Qiashi Academy and walked into Tan Shahen's office. When Tan Shahen saw him, she asked, "How did you come?" "What, I can't come," Zhang Chen asked. Okay, but I'm so busy that I don't have time to deal with you, so you can do whatever you want," Tan Shahen said. You," Zhang Chen cursed. He sat in Tan Shahen's office for 10 minutes and saw that Tan Shahen was no different from usual. Neither of them mentioned Lu Ligan. Zhang Chen stood up and said, "I'm leaving." "Okay, Zhang Chen, even if I have already sent you to the gate, okay." "I won't stand up," Tan Shahen said. Zhang Chen laughed, waved his hand and went out. He passed Yao Fen's office and saw Yao Fen inside, so he walked in and asked how Yao Fen was doing now. "Very good," Yao Fen said. "Where is your company?" Zhang Chen asked. Same as usual. After Yao Fen finished speaking, she felt strange. She asked, Mr. Zhang, do you still need to ask me about our company's affairs? Just asking, Zhang Chen said. Seemingly nothing happened. Zhang Chen returned to his office. As soon as he sat down, he saw his mother and Xiao Zhao's mother walking in. Both of them were carrying two bulging vest bags. Zhang Chen smiled and said, What did you rush to buy again? His mother rolled her eyes at him and ignored him. Instead, she put the vest bag on the coffee table. She walked outside the door and called to the next door, Xiao Zhao, Xiao Zhao. Xiao Zhao ran in, and Zhang Chen's mother took something out of her vest pocket. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao were startled. They saw that what Zhang Chen's mother took out were all Azadi's root granules. What are you doing? Zhang Chen asked. What are you doing? Zhang Chen's mother said, now there is a strange disease that can't even be cured by the doctor. Only this Azadi's root is a special medicine. Just take it and you'll be fine. These are for you. You can eat 2 packs a day. By the way, let the Pole eat too. Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh. Old lady, where did you hear this gossip? What's the gossip? People are queuing up in pharmacies to grab Azadi's roots. We went to 5 pharmacies to get these. You must eat them every day, do you hear me? When Zhang Chen's mother was talking, Xiao Zhao's mother was beside her, nodding her head repeatedly to confirm that it was indeed true. Xiao Zhao quickly said, okay, we will eat it every day. Zhang Chen's mother looked at her watch and shouted, we have to go back right away. We are almost home from south to north. I want them to eat right away. The 2 old ladies left a pile of Azadi's root granules on the coffee table and left as hurriedly as they had come. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao looked at each other, and they couldn't help laughing. Eat, eat, don't you promise to eat every day? Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao said. Just eat it. Anyway, there is no harm in eating this kind of food, Xiao Zhao said and picked up 2 packs of Azadi's root. The main thing is that I don't have enough to eat, Zhang Chen said. Zhang Chen said, turning on the computer and searching for Banlingen. I'll go, Zhang Chen shouted, they are really trying to grab Azadi's roots, not just in Hangzhou, but in many places. Because? Xiao Zhao asked. Let me take a look. Zhang Chen then searched for relevant news and said to Xiao Zhao, it is true that he is sick, but it is not a strange disease, but some kind of pneumonia. In Guangzhou, more than 300 people have it. So powerful? Xiao Zhao asked. What's so great? It was said in the news that it has been controlled. The Guangzhou municipal government has held a press conference, saying that there are more than 300 people, which is a very small proportion for a city with a population of 10 million. There are still people here. According to reports, Guangzhou's tourism market is not slow during the off-season. After the Spring Festival, migrant workers from all over the country still crowd the Guangzhou railway station. As I said here, because the epidemic is not serious and is within a controllable range, on February 12, the friendly match between the Chinese football team and the world champion Brazilian football team was held normally in Guangzhou. The 2 sides fought 0:0. On site it was packed with fans, more than 50,000 people. Also, February 18th, what day is it today? It's today, tonight, the 2003 Luo Dao Guangzhou concert held at Guangzhou Tianhe Stadium will go on as usual. It's okay. These old ladies just like to spread rumors. The wind is like rain. Xiao Zhao came over, placed a cup of Azadi's root in front of Zhang Chen, and said to him, this is yours. I don't want to drink, Zhang Chen said. Drink. Zhang Chen said with a bitter face, sister, this stuff tastes terrible. Sister, I know, Xiao Zhao nodded and pushed the cup in front of Zhang Chen, but brother, seeing as the 2 old men worked so hard to grab it and made a special trip to deliver it, you have to drink it too. Zhang Chen picked up the cup, smelled it, and frowned. Xiao Zhao shouted, Don't frown, drink. Jiang Chen had no choice but to pick up the cup and take a sip while looking at the computer. I'll go, Jiang Chen shouted. What happened again? Xiao Zhao asked. The news said that several cities are rushing to buy Izadi's roots and white vinegar. It is said that using white vinegar to smoke can also cure diseases. Really? So, the old ladies really got it right this time. Xiao Zhao picked up the phone on the table as he spoke, and Jiang Chen asked, what do you want to do? Tell your mother this news and give her a sense of accomplishment, Xiao Zhao said. Jiang Chen quickly took the phone from Xiao Zhao and put it back. Jiang Chen said, don't be too fussy. You said it, and they turned around and went out to grab the vinegar. Xiao Zhao laughed. She said, yes, the best person to know your mother is you know your mother best. Jiang Chen is used to it every day. At 6:30, he will turn on the TV and watch economic news. On this day, Jiang Chen turned on the TV and was shocked. He saw Wei Qian appearing on the screen, so said, they have returned from Xiamen? But why didn't I see Lu Ligan? This is not his style. Jiang Chen went out to take a look. The door to Lu Ligan's room was closed and the lights were dark. Jiang Chen walked over and knocked on the door, but there was no response. Jiang Chen was surprised. At this hour, this guy came back, and Wei Qian was at work again. If he didn't go home, where would he go? Could it be that when he went to Xiamen, it wasn't Wei Qian who went with him? Jiang Chen picked up his cell phone and dialed Lu Ligan's number. The phone rang. Jiang Chen was startled. He heard the ringing coming from Lu Ligan's room. Jiang Chen kicked the door with his foot and shouted, open the door, or I'll kick you in. The light turned on, and then the door opened. Lu Ligan looked at him sleepily and cursed, what the hell are you doing, violent demolition? Do you have anything to unpack? Jiang Chen pushed Lu Ligan away and walked in. He saw that the ashtray was filled with cigarette butts on the coffee table, and there were several finished instant noodle buckets with a lot of cigarette butts thrown in. The room was filled with a strange smell of cigarettes, instant noodles, and smelly socks. Jiang Chen almost vomited from the smoke. Lu Ligan reached out and pushed open the bedroom door, and said to Jiang Chen, come on, let's check here first. Check it out, a sow can stay in a room like this. Jiang Chen cursed, and he went to turn on the range hood, and opened all the doors and windows for ventilation. Lu Ligan shouted, what are you doing? It's so cold. As he said that, he walked out and walked to Jiang Chen's office. Jiang Chen left the doors and windows open, and walked out. Seeing Ji Ling coming this way, Jiang Chen said to her, go and clean Mr. Liu's room. The pig's nest is cleaner than that. Ji Ling smiled and said, okay. Jiang Chen walked back to the office and saw Lu Ligan slumped on the sofa. Jiang Chen walked over and asked, when did you come back? Yesterday, Lu Ligan said. You came back yesterday? Then you smoked and ate instant noodles in the room. The main thing is sleeping. Isn't it the spring sleep that means I don't wake up? I don't wake up and can sleep all day long. How's the progress between you and that anchor Wei? Jiang Chen asked. No progress, we're divided. Why? No reason, it's boring. Okay, that's great, Jiang Chen said, this is a typhoon-style love. It comes and goes quickly. It's amazing. Love, it's just that we need each other. If it's no longer interesting, we'll break up, Lu Li said angrily. Thank you WXD121, Zhou Shui, don't take it too seriously for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you a nice weekend. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1308. Jiang Chen felt as if he had seen the familiar Lu Ligan again, the same Lu Ligan who heard the news of Tan Shuhen and Feng Lugui's marriage when he was in Haikan. Almost overnight, Jiang Chen and Feng Lugui became confused. Xiao Wu felt a little strange. Zhang Chen knew that the root cause of Lu Lizan's disease was Tan Shahen, last time and this time too. He knew the root cause, but he was helpless. He felt that he was empty and had no medicine. Now, Lu Ligan brings women back almost every day. Sometimes, the women he brings back look decent. Sometimes, the women he brings back are wearing heavy makeup. You can tell at a glance which roadside shop he brought them back from. Fortunately, he still had some sense of control. When those serious women came, he would ask Zhang Chen to have dinner and supper together. So Zhang Chen knew that these women came from all walks of life. Zhang Chen scolded Lu Ligan and said, "You're a humming women's federation now." Lu Ligan laughed and said, "They really all have their own merits." He probably knew that he couldn't get rid of those heavy makeup, so as soon as he came back, the two of them got into the room and never came out again. It wasn't until the next day that the woman walked away in a swaggering way, and Lu Lipol swayed. Appeared in Zhang Chen's office. People in the company were talking about this. Su Kioxin called Lu Ligan not Mr. Lu, but Tulip. They said he was so fragrant that he attracted bees and butterflies every day. Zhao Jingjing and Xiao Zhao said that the impact of this is too bad. There are so many little girls upstairs, and Mr. Lu has ruined the atmosphere here. Xiao Zhao, go and talk to Mr. Zhang. Xiao Zhao also felt that it was a bit too unseemly. She came to Zhang Chen and said, "Can you ask the Pole to pay more attention?" Zhang Chen shook his head and said, "No, if I said so, I would be chasing him away. He would definitely move out without saying anything. Now, no matter what he does, he is at least still doing it under my nose. If he moves out, he will definitely move out. I don't know anything about what happened." Xiao Zhao thought about it and it made sense, but she felt a little anxious. She said, "How could this happen? He and Sister Shahen are not a good couple, but..." Xiao Zhao couldn't talk anymore. She felt that Zhang Chen had nothing to do, and she felt that there was nothing she could do. "There is no other way but to give him time," Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao said. "Since there is no way to go to Tan Shahen, I hope that if he just wanders around like this, he will meet someone who can conquer him." Zhang Chen went to see Tan Shahen again. As soon as he talked about Lu Ligan's current situation, Tan Shahen said to him, "Zhang Chen, please stop talking. I don't want to hear or know how he lives. That is his right and freedom. I have no right to interfere. I can only assure you that whether he is in the company or not, I will do what I have to do well." When Tan Shahen said this, Zhang Chen understood that Tan Shahen knew what Lu Ligan was doing now, but she just didn't want to care about it. Tan Shahen said this, and Zhang Chen was helpless. Lu Ligan walked into Zhang Chen's office and collapsed on the sofa. Zhang Chen asked, "Didn't you go to work again today?" "I'm tired today, let's talk tomorrow," Lu Ligan said and laughed. "That bitch yesterday was so powerful that half of her life was taken away by her." "Gangzi, what do you want to do?" Zhang Chen asked. "Do you think this is actually very fake and childish?" "Is it fake? Why do I feel so real? I feel that I used to be a fake and serious person, but now I have returned to my true nature. Anyway, there are people in charge of the company, and I have money and leisure, so I am not happy. Isn't this also a man's ideal? You go out and ask, as long as that man becomes emperor first, who is not envious of him for having 3 palaces and 6 courtyards?" Lu Ligan said, patting the sofa and shouting, "That's right, that's right." "What's wrong?" Zhang Chen asked. "The quality of women these days is a bit low. I feel like I can't handle it." "No, I need to find someone of a higher quality," Lu Ligan said. "Then go live broadcast of economic news," Zhang Chen scolded. "Not interested anymore." Lu Ligan said, picked up the phone, called Wen Wen, and asked her to help introduce a few starlets to him. "What do you want to do?" Wen Wen asked. "Fill in the empty room. You're either a bodybuilder or a member of the weightlifting team every damn day, So you don't care about me, Lu Ligan scolded. You're not. Wenwen wanted to say, aren't you and that Mr. Tan? Lu Lizan interrupted her, I am nothing, just a lonely person. I have been a lonely person for a long time. I just let you go. I reluctantly gave you up to Sichuan girls. Do you understand? Come on, introduce a few to me quickly and I'll reward you. Crazy, Wenwen cursed and hung up the phone. Huo, did you see that Zhang Chen, the person I brought out myself, dared to hang up on me, Lu Ligan said to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen said, Wenwen is right, you are crazy. No, I can't let her go. As Lu Ligan spoke, he dialed Wenwen's phone again. The phone rang for a long time before he was picked up. Wenwen cursed on the phone. You are bored. You have nothing to do, just wash your fingers and play. I'm busy here. Lu Ligan threatened, do you believe it? If you dare to hang up on me again, I will call someone every 10 minutes, midnight, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and I will not lift anyone who hits the weightlifting team until. Wenwen begged for mercy, okay, brother, tell me if you have something to do. I'm really busy here. Lu Li was very persistent and kept talking. Wenwen was annoyed by him and gave him a few names and phone numbers and asked him to contact him by himself. Wenwen told him, don't say I know you, I can't afford to lose that face. Forget it. If you want to say it, just say it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, these few are not good things. They are just right for being bad. In the next few days, Lu Ligan couldn't even see anyone, and he didn't know where he went. Zhang Chen didn't even bother to call. He knew that he must have gone to find one of the people Wenwen gave him, and he just called, it won't do anything. Zhang Chen called Meng Ping and told him the matter. Meng Ping sighed and said, I didn't expect that this noble wife is really loyal and unyielding. Zhang Chen, the poll is up to him. Anyway, he still has the capital and time of a bastard. Let him be a bastard. It's a good thing to play with women. In addition to wasting a few money, everything else is harmless, it just depends on when he will look back. This damn guy, isn't he the second Lao Ni? Zhang Chen cursed. Meng Ping laughed and said, the poll is better than that of Lao Ni. At least he is a consensual person. He fights quickly and grabs everything. After he has divided things, he can continue to do whatever he wants. Lao Ni's is to take all of them were tied to the waistband of his pants, so he committed an evil act and harmed this little girl for the rest of her life. To put it mildly, she should be castrated. Zhang Chen thought about it and realized that what Meng Ping said made sense. They were all adults. You and I were willing to let him go. After the new year, both Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao were very busy. The two newly opened workshops in the factory were full of workers, but production was still very tight. In addition to Target's products, their own spring and summer clothing, the demand has expanded several times compared with previous years. Spring and summer are originally the most suitable seasons for cotton and linen clothing. In addition to the fashion show at the end of November last year, not only did the number of second and third level agents under each of their general agents more than double, but also, all of a sudden across the country, more than 24 shopping malls have been added. Whether it is a newly joined second or third level agent or a counter in a shopping mall, each place needs at least 400 to 500 sets of clothes for the first batch of goods. Otherwise, it cannot support a counter or specialty store. This increased quantity amazing. Zhang Chen and his factory have been producing at full capacity almost since the fashion show. Unfortunately, there was a spring festival holiday in the middle. They spent nearly half a month and worked hard. After more than 40 days of production, they finally finished the first batch of pavements. After the goods were shipped, replenishment orders came one after another. Moreover, Every general agent knows that the sales situation of Pentium this year will definitely be very good, and the production in the company will be very tight. When replenishing the goods, they have increased the order quantity, which makes Zhao Zhigang scratch his head every day. The production tasks in the factory are so tight. Zhang Chen spends more time in the office of the factory and less time upstairs in the dynamic zone. In this way, he can't control what Lu Ligan is doing even if he wants to. Fortunately, as Meng Ping said, playing with women is harmless except for costing a few dollars. If you are not around, you will be out of sight. Zhang Chen even felt that he deliberately hid in the factory on the pretext that there was too much work in the factory. In fact, there is no need for him to spread cloth and cut, let alone use the sewing machine. His biggest role in the factory is as a supplier of many fabrics and accessories. The time after the new year is also very busy. What they need is often available. The supply was not available. At this time, Zhao Zhigang called to urge him, but the portion he ordered was different. But this phone can actually be made upstairs in the M zone. Xiao Zhao was also very busy. Zhang Chen kept an eye on the factory while Xiao Zhao flew around the country, mainly because in those shopping malls, they signed cooperative sales agreements directly with Pentium Company. Although the specific operations in the future would management, except for Beijing and Shanghai, is a general agent in various places, but it is impossible for department stores to sign an agreement with a general agent. Moreover, the women's clothing department managers of these well-known shopping malls usually have many people asking for their help. They are very good. If they randomly send someone to sign, they will feel that they are not taken seriously, and they may fall out immediately. When they came to Hangzhou last year, it was Xiao Zhao who was in charge of receiving them. They knew who Xiao Zhao was. If Zhang Chen didn't have time to sign in person, it would be the same for them if Xiao Zhao came. Xiao Zhao is not as good at the factory as Zhang Chen, and he is not as familiar with the suppliers below, so the two of them divide the work. Zhang Chen keeps an eye on the factory, and all agreements with outsiders are made by him. Xiao Zhao flew over and took the local general agent to the mall to sign. In addition to the stores owned by the general agent, there are also several new shopping malls in Beijing and Shanghai that are directly operated by their own company. These two places require Xiao Zhao to go there himself. Xiao Zhao joked to herself that she had become a trapeze artist, and flying was like taking a taxi. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao said that it would be convenient for us to buy a plane ourselves. Xiao Zhao's heart was moved, but when she learned that the annual cost of a plane was about 8 to 9 million, she immediately gave up the idea. She said, "Wouldn't it just mean more time waiting at the airport? But dear, think about it, 8 to 9 million, that's more than 20,000 a day. With more than 20,000, it's a good deal no matter how long I wait." Yes, Xiao Zhao said, "When I wait for the plane in the future, I will think about it. I saved more than 20,000 today. My dear, will I feel very happy?" Zhang Chen laughed. He said, "Yes, I should call Mr. Ni every day and tell him that your plane is parked there today and you have wasted more than 20,000 yuan. After a month of fighting, he will probably be forced by me. Crazy. Thank you for the reward from Nest on the Sofa and the Humorous Tribe, at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, for 2 fishes. Thank you Guzio Kyoukyo for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. 1303 disappeared. I was stupid for a long time, a little depressed, and disrupted all the subsequent plans. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 1309. Zhang Chen goes to the distribution center on the first floor of the factory every day. There are replenishment orders sent from all over the country, as well as daily sales reports for each store. Zhang Chen generally doesn't look at the replenishment orders. That is what Zhao Zhigang is most concerned about. He has to issue production orders based on the replenishment orders, calculate the number of cuts that need to be made on the cutting bed, and at the same time, adjust the order of clothing production. How many do they have in total? There are hundreds of styles. It is impossible to say that hundreds of styles are being produced in the workshop at the same time every day. Only a dozen styles are being produced every day. Zhaozigang will give priority to production of styles with large replenishment volume and urgent needs. Clothing for domestic sales is different from export sales. The entire cycle is very short, from customer replenishment to Zhaozigang arranging production and then to the distribution center for shipment. At most it only takes 3 or 4 days, so they have to make reasonable adjustments and arrangements every day to first produce those products that are already seriously out of stock in the distribution center. What Zhang Chen is most concerned about is the daily sales. In his opinion, the replenishment order cannot reflect the real sales. It only reflects a style and the popularity of each agent. Many garments go from their distribution center to the general agent. There, from the general agent to the second and third level agents, sometimes they stopped and did not move forward. Many of these products will eventually come back to fill the exchange rate. Zhang Chen knows that only the daily sales report of each store every day is the real reflection. It means that these clothes have gone through all their journeys and reached the hands of the final consumers, and will finally appear on their bodies, welcoming the new generation. Approval looks from others. Today's sales daily report is different from when it was in Sanbao. It is no longer sent back through the fax machine, which is heated every day, but is sent through the computer, and the distribution center will print them all out, hundreds or thousands of pages every day, put them into different handout folders, and put them on the shelf. When computers first became popular, there was a saying called paperless office, which meant that whatever you need in the future, you just need to look at it on the computer. Those paper things will soon become a thing of the past and will be eliminated by the computer age. Abandoned by the torrent. But in fact, the more popular computers are, the greater the consumption of paper. In the past, which unit would need so much A4 paper? Now, even many families are equipped with printers and packages of A4 paper. Facts have proved that people are still more accustomed to looking at things on paper, and they trust things on paper more. Computers do not promote paperless office, but just present more documents and forms more beautifully, neatly, conveniently, and quickly. On paper. The shelves where daily reports are stored in the distribution center are arranged according to regions. Zhang Chen stood in front of the shelves and looked at them one by one. In each region, the first one in line was the general agent. Each general agent had a summary table. It shows the sales situation of all the second and third level agents and shopping malls there. Zhang Chen doesn't like to see this, but prefers to see the reports of each store and each shopping mall. He felt that these numbers were the most vivid. They represented the business and the expressions of each store owner. Those with a long list of sales. Although Zhang Chen didn't know who the owner of this store was, his or her eyebrows must be relaxed and the corners of his mouth must be smiling. On the other hand, if there are only a few sales, it goes without saying that the boss's face must be bitter. This meant that not only did he not make any money, but he could not keep up with his daily costs. His profit was not enough to pay the rent or the salesperson's salary. When he saw such a report, Zhang Chen felt apologetic in his heart. Every agent who chooses to sell your Banmuishan clothing does so out of trust in the Banmuishan brand. These few sales will make Zhang Chen feel that he owes this trust. If this is only a very rare phenomenon in an area, then Zhang Chen will know that there is a problem with the store's merchandise display or operation. Zhang Chen will immediately call the general agent and ask him to find the reason and help the following to turn the business around. Let's do it. The greater their brand awareness, the lazier the general agents become. They are more concerned about collecting franchise fees. As for whether your business is good or not, they are too lazy to care. It is best if your business is not good and you quit voluntarily. Recruit a second company and charge another franchise fee. Anyway, there are many people who want to join now, so they don't have to worry. When encountering such a general agent, Zhang Chen sometimes wanted to yell. He repeatedly told them that whether our clothing sells well or not does not depend on how many new agents you develop in a year, but on the performance of the agents below you. How long does it last? The longer we are an agent, it means our clothes are easier to sell with them. I also hope that you will not have a new store every year. There are so many cities and counties in each region. There is only one agent in each city and county. If it is possible to change agents every year, it means there is a problem. The general agents were all submissive when they answered Zhang Chen's calls, but when they actually did it, only God knows how much they did, so Zhang Chen needed to call repeatedly until the report of that store started to look good. Zhang Chen seemed to see the store owners smile, and then he breathed a sigh of relief. If there is a general sales decline in a region, even though their overall sales across the country are rising, Zhang Chen will still be very alert. This is a reminder to him that adjustments need to be made in the product, indicating that they have not found the good news in this region. Selling point. Although the best-selling styles are similar and generally sell well in the north and south, there are still some regional differences. At this time, Zhang Chen will discuss with Ji Ling and even send their designers to go on a business trip to that area to check out his own stores, and also look at stores with good business, not to imitate, but to find out the reasons. Find that place, that special selling point. When Zhang Chen arrived at the distribution center, he would naturally take out the Chongqing report first and look at it every day. There was no other reason than that when he picked up the report, He Dongmei's smile would appear in front of him. He knew how these numbers would infect He Dongmei, and how they would infect He Dongmei, and then infect him. Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh. Zhang Chen would then pick up Shenyang Ma Ya's report. When he picked it up, he seemed to hear Ma Ya calling, "Brother Zhang." Zhang Chen would pick up Wu Hu's report by the way, but his heart would feel a little painful because he knew that the person behind these numbers was no longer Xiang Qin. Zhang Chen later had several phone calls with Xiang Qin and learned that Xiang Qin's project was not going very smoothly. His classmate's husband was not capable himself. In addition to recruiting Xiang Qin, he also recruited 4 other friends to join the team. Once there are more, all kinds of conflicts arise, and we bump into each other all day long. When the house was built, because the project was too small, there was not even a decent community, and there were no property management and security guards. From the first floor to the 6th floor, every window had to be equipped with safety cages. Without them, there would be no sense of security. The sales situation of the house will definitely not be good. If the sales situation is not good, what was originally a small conflict will turn into a big one. Some people are clamoring to withdraw their shares, but the money has been turned into a house that no one wants. You can refund whatever you want, or the house should be refunded to you. As a result, there is a contradiction in the calculation of how much house to refund. I'm so annoyed, I'm about to start a fight, Xiang Qin and Zhang Chen said. If I had known this, Mr. Zhang, I might as well continue selling my clothes. The business on the pedestrian street is pretty good, right? Zhang Chen read Wu Hu's reports every day. He said yes to Xiang Qin. When he said yes, Zhang Chen felt sad because he knew that Xiang Qin would also feel sad when he heard this. Zhang Chen could only tell Xiang Qin, it doesn't matter. Xiang Qin, aren't house prices rising now? Even if they haven't been sold, the house has been increasing in value. You don't have to worry. Xiang Qin didn't ring. After a while, she sighed and said, we only have 2 houses. We just want to increase the value. How much can it increase? There are so many shareholders. After a while, Xiang Qinhui said to Zhang Chen, Mr. Zhang, can I find another place to continue selling our clothes? Zhang Chen said yes, if you find it, I will definitely sign it with you immediately. Still the same, I will run over and design the store for you. Really, that's great, Mr. Zhang, we are committed, Xiang Qin shouted. Zhang Chen said yes, it was a deal. What he was thinking in his mind was that designing a store is nothing. When the time comes, I will fill your store with goods without taking any payment. He knew that money was actually very tight after Xiang Qin started that real estate project. He also knew that when he told Xiao Zhao would definitely agree. Who made Xiang Qin their first wholesale customer? Is this their first direct development franchisee? Unfortunately, Xiang Qin never found a suitable place. All decent cities in East China have their agents. If Xiang Qin wants to do it, he can only transfer it from other people's hands. But now Half an Acre Field's reputation is getting bigger and bigger, and the business is getting better and better. This at that time, who would be willing to transfer their franchise rights? It is impossible for Xiang Qin to say that she went to the Northwest to open a franchise store. At that time, the person she had to deal with was their general agent in Lanzhou or Xi'an, not them. They were self-operated. Just the East China region. Zhang Chen stuffed the Wuhu lecture folder back into the shelf and sighed. Only then did he realize that he had taken out the lecture folder and opened it, but in fact he had not read it at all. Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh, took out the handout folder again, and started reading. What makes him happy is that Wuhu, like all their other stores across the country, has numbers that can make people smile. Zhang Chen looked at the large row of shelves in front of him. He felt that what he saw was a large area of smiling faces, which was really beautiful. What Zhang Chen didn't know was that just as he was looking at the smiling faces with relief, the disaster was gathering strength somewhere. When it jumped up, exposed its fangs, and used its barbed hands to fan when Zhang Chen was here, everything was so fast and rough, catching people off guard. Although the sky is still sunny, the storm is coming. When the storm comes, Zhang Chen will not be able to become Gorky's famous proud petrel. The dark clouds will not hear his joyful howl, let alone his cry, let the storm come be more violent. He would be slapped hard on the ground, soaked and bruised. Thank you book friend 2017101814574872 for the reward. Thank you Fan, Zongkai 727, Suyu Enian, 1997 Orange, book friends 201806202240288804, Joshua, WXD121, don't take it too seriously for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 1310. The year 2003 was an unforgettable year for all Chinese people. The strange disease that Zhang Chen's mother talked about started in Heiwan, Guangdong in December of the previous year. By the beginning of 2003, it spread south to places such as Hong Kong and Vietnam, and further north, spread to Beijing and the rest of the country. Everyone calls this disease SARS, and the official name of the World Health Organization is Severe Respiratory Syndrome, SARS. It should be said that when the SARS epidemic first began, people were concerned about this epidemic that they had never experienced before. The understanding of it is insufficient, and its pathology, toxicity, and transmission routes are all blank. Our country's public health system has experience in preventing and treating schistosomiasis and leprosy. Our country's public health system has always called Plague 01 disease and Cholera 02 disease. I never thought that one day, this type of pneumonia would become an epidemic sweeping the country. At that time, everyone's understanding of the dangers of pneumonia was limited to silicosis. Miners in mines, quarries, cement plants, and sand foundry operators became silicosis patients because of inhaling a large amount of dust. Therefore, various silicosis sanatoriums, large and small, were established across the country to protect their health. Healthy. The extreme understanding of pneumonia is limited to this. In addition, our entire health system is severely fragmented, which makes timely reporting and statistics of the epidemic difficult. For example, in Hangzhou, the Provincial People's Hospital belongs to the Provincial Department of Health, City Number 1 to City Number 7 hospitals belong to the Hangzhou City Health Bureau, Zhejiang Number 1, Zhejiang Number 2 and Shaw Hospital belong to Zhejiang University, 117, 903 and Armed Police General Hospital, respectively. They belong to the Army and Armed Police, while Hangzhou Steel Hospital and Hangzhou Bow Hospital belong to enterprises. They do not have a unified system, which has brought difficulties to the rapid response at the beginning of the epidemic. By April 17, senior central officials had fully realized the seriousness and potential threat of SARS and began to go all out to respond. At the same time, they formally warned local officials that officials who underreported or concealed the epidemic would face severe punishment. The next day, the Chinese government held another press conference and announced that the number of cases in Beijing had suddenly increased from 37 to 339. From top to bottom, we started to prepare for the epidemic and started the epidemic prevention and control war. In Beijing, Xiaotangshan Hospital was quickly built, and special fever outpatient hospitals were opened in various places to implement mass prevention and treatment. Due to the need for epidemic prevention, the Development Zone Management Committee asked Zhang Chen and others to keep all workers in the factory and not to go out. The May Day holiday will also be cancelled. After Zhang Chen and Zhao Zhigang held an all-staff meeting, the door from the living area to Jasa Road is closed. Employees can only go to and from work through the door connecting the factory area to the living area. The door leading to the outside of the factory area is strictly controlled. Except for those who purchase and deliver goods, no one else can enter or exit. The production and life in the factory were still going on, which gave Zhang Chen an illusion, thinking that this was just an illness. It would pass in about 5 or 6 days and a week. However, Zhang Chen's illusion was soon shattered by the successive orders for epidemic prevention and control, and the daily increase in confirmed, suspected, and dead cases announced on television and print media. Zheng Huiyang called Zhang Chen and told him that a suspected case was found in their company. Now their entire department cannot go to work. Now everyone needs to self-quarantine at home for a week. So awesome, Zhang Chen said. That's right, Mr. Zhang, this disease is so serious. You must be careful. There are so many people in the factory, and if there is any suspicion, it will be over, Zheng Huiyang warned. Zhang Chen said okay, thank you. Soon, something more serious happened. Zhang Chen went to the distribution center and found that the daily replenishment orders were gone. Those general agents who had already placed replenishment orders also called and asked to cancel the orders. The people at the distribution center told Zhang Chen, and Zhang Chen smiled and said, "These people are rare and strange. When they replenish the goods, they will find it is too late. At that time, everyone will break their heads to grab them again." "No, Mr. Zhang, there are no sales now," the staff said to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen's heart skipped a beat. He picked up the daily sales report and took a look at it. He found that the sales in coastal cities were now only 10% of the original. The mainland was a little better, but only 20 to 30%. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "It's okay, it's not what it is like on TV. Are there any epidemics being broadcast every day? Everyone is scared. It is normal for sales to decline, but they will recover soon. Summer has not started yet." Zhang Chen called Zhao Zhigang over and told him that he would use this period of time to stock up on goods so that when the epidemic passes in a few days and orders come in droves, there won't be nothing to ship. Zhao Zhigang said yes. Zhang Chen called Xiao Zhao, who was in Beijing. Xiao Zhao and Zhang Chen said that although there is no one in the mall now and the May Day holiday has been cancelled, parks and shopping center still requires us to enter before May Day. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "That means their judgment is consistent with mine, and they also believe that the epidemic will pass soon." Xiao Zhao responded hummingly, and she said, "Of course, we have to go there soon, otherwise it will be over." "How about our own store?" Zhang Chen asked. There was no one, no sales. There was no one in Wangfujing. Hung Mei and I drove out at night. At about 9 o'clock, there was no one on the street. They were all stray cats and dogs. We didn't believe it. This was still Beijing. "You said the streets are full of stray cats and dogs." "Why?" Zhang Chen was puzzled. Xiao Zhao said, "These people are very outrageous. Didn't they say that animals are easily infected with viruses? They threw their pet cats and dogs on the street. Although the government reminded them to hand them over to centralized shelters, they didn't care. Throw it away as garbage." In a house downstairs from Hung Mei's house, when we went back, we saw that the abandoned dog had been found back somehow. He was squatting at the door and crying. He really was crying. That person's share of, just refused to open the door, so we took it home. Zhang Chen shook his head. There is a saying that describes couples, saying that when disaster strikes, they fly away separately. This is not the case for husband and wife, let alone treating pets. These people usually call their pets baby, son, and darling. In times of crisis, the selfish nature of human beings will prevail. Get rid of the usual casual and overflowing so-called love. You, Xili, and Hung Mei should be careful. The epidemic in Beijing is very serious now, Zhang Chen said. Xiao Zhao said, "Yes, when we go out, we all wear masks." "Haha, my dear, you don't know that now the streets in Beijing are full of people wearing masks. Now the mask makers are getting rich. Is this the same in Hangzhou?" "No, very few, especially in the factory, no one wears a mask. But now, the workshop, cafeteria and dormitories have to be disinfected with disinfectants every day. Disinfectants are not available now. Fortunately, Li Yong helped me get some." Li Yong is very busy now, right?" Xiao Zhao asked. "Yes, he is now the Commander-in-Chief of Epidemic Prevention and Control in Hangzhou and is very busy. In the next few days, the clothing kept being produced in the workshop and there was no place to distribute it. The distribution center was soon full. Looking at the daily sales report of each place, there was not even 10%, and it went directly to zero. And the epidemic seems to have not ended yet. Zhang Chen received more and more calls from general agents, all complaining about the lack of business. Zhang Chen could only comfort them, saying that things would get better soon and that the epidemic would pass. Ma Ya called Zhang Chen, almost crying, and said to Zhang Chen, "Brother Zhang, my store is full of goods. The stores below have all returned the goods. They are piled here. Zhang brother, I don't know what to do, I'm going to die this year." There is a situation that Zhang Chen has never known, that is, although his company has signed a 30% exchange rate with the general agents, behind his back, in order to attract the people below to join, also in order to compete with other brands, the exchange rate was directly adjusted to 100%. In normal days, it is impossible to say that a piece of clothing cannot be sold. A 100% exchange rate is just a gimmick, but in reality it is only 30 or 40. General agents, if they switch between different stores themselves, the exchange rate will not be that high. Moreover, these general agents come to the company for meetings every year. They are familiar with each other and have contact with each other. If one place does this, the effect is good, other places will follow suit. The result is that everyone is 100% familiar with the following. Only Zhang Chen didn't know the exchange rate. With this year's epidemic, every store has no sales, and the deadline for exchange is 1 month. When the time is approaching, those second and third level agents returned all the goods in the store to the general agent, and the general agent. There was number 100% exchange rate between the agents and Zhang Chen, so they were dumbfounded. The store would be full of goods like what Ma Ya said. 30% of them were returned to the factory, but the store was still full of goods. These goods couldn't be sold and there was no way to return them, so they would fall into their hands. Don't say Ma Ya, she even wanted to die. All sales in various places were zero, and there was no place to deliver goods. On the contrary, every day the cars from the factory drove out, and all they brought back were returns. There were so many returns that the people in the distribution center had no way to sort them out. They could only sort them out. Bags were piled in the hallway by the door. Only then did Zhang Chen realize the seriousness of the matter. He asked Zhao Zhigang to immediately stop producing goods for domestic sales and instead only produce goods for export. However, their production capacity this year has suddenly expanded so much. If all of them are produced for export, where will they be? There is such a large volume in the workshop, so those who used to have to work overtime every day no longer work overtime. Then, there is not so much work to do without overtime, so we can only let everyone work and play for half a day. But then, a new problem arose, that is, many auxiliary materials could no longer be purchased. The factories that originally produced these auxiliary materials were not very large. As soon as they heard the requirements of governments at all levels, they kept the workers in the factory. Being here means that these workers must be supported, so many factories secretly send their workers home during the holidays. The supply of auxiliary materials is not available, production has become intermittent, and even delivery cannot be delivered on time. Su Kioxin and the others can only keep apologizing to customers and explaining what is going on with this year's epidemic. At this time, Zhang Chen felt that the higher he climbed, the harder he fell. He spent so much money last year to put on a successful fashion show. It seems that the sales area has expanded, and the production capacity has also followed. Expansion, but I didn't expect that success would bring not a sweet fruit, but a bitter one. Whether you can swallow this bitter pill or not, you must swallow it. Thank you, Tin Soldier, for the reward of 2 fishes at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you for your monthly votes from Emperor Yan, Zifeng, Firewood Gatherer, Book Friends 201706220815114559, Honest Chiang, Pai Wuzun, Book Friends 201912162129444508, It's Not an Impossible World, Calm Life, Cup Guy API, Light and Shadow Sichuan Travel, and Lu. Thanks for all the testimonials and great reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1311. Lu Ligan has not been to the company for several days. No one knows where he is. Zhang Chen has been staring at the factory during this period. He even slept on the sofa in the factory office. There is a saying, much ado about nothing. With so many thousands of workers locked up in factories and not much work to do, it is easy for problems to arise. When there was work to do, everyone was tied to their posts. They were exhausted from working every day. After work, they took the time to sleep. There was no time or mood to even quarrel with each other. There was no work to do and no one could go out. Everyone was locked in the dormitory, and all kinds of conflicts arose. Zhang Chen had to keep an eye on him at all times. He, the boss, was still dignified to the workers. Many times, the effect of his intervention will be better than that of Zhaoji, and he can calm him down. Because of this, Zhang Chen didn't even go upstairs to the dynamic zone for several days. Where would he encounter Lu Ligan? Anyway, Lu Ligan was still singing and dancing at this time. He was either with this woman or that one every day. Zhang Chen didn't bother to care. Tan Shahen called Lu Ligan. The phone rang for a long time before he was picked up. Lu Ligan said lazily, "What are you doing?" When are you going to come to the company? Tan Shahen asked. I'm not going, Lu Ligan said. Okay, you don't come. Tan Shahen got angry and cursed. If you don't come today, you won't come in the future, and your company will be gone and bankrupt. After Tan Shahen finished scolding, she hung up the phone. Lu Ligan held the phone and was stunned for a long time. Then he realized that something was serious and rushed to the company. It was only when I arrived at the company that I discovered that Tan Shahen was not an alarmist. Due to the epidemic, the sales of all their sales departments are now zero, and they do not earn a penny a day. Since last year, because they took too much land, their capital chain has been very tight. Almost all the funds on the books have been turned into land. But fortunately, the overall real estate market is good, and the funds recovered from sales can still be used to maintain the company's daily expenses and pay project fees. Now the sales have suddenly become zero, which is equivalent to the source of running water being gone. But so many people have to eat and pay wages. Moreover, when the time comes, the project fees that should be paid must also be paid. In this way, their accounts funds were immediately stretched. Discount sales, Lu Ligan said without thinking. Are you stupid? Tan Shahen said, there is no one now, and every sales office is crowded. It's not a matter of price at all. Even if you give a discount, someone must come first. Moreover, we have a discount now. Will people who have already bought the same property come to make trouble? They all want to check out and so on. What should I do? Lao Tan asked. That just adds fuel to the fire, Tan Shahen said. Can I get a new loan? Lu Ligan asked. Don't even think about it, Tan Shahen said, I have already called President Wang. The bank, as soon as there is any trouble, the first thing to be strictly controlled is the real estate industry. Since this year, everyone has been clamoring about the real estate bubble in Hangzhou. Banks are already very nervous, and at this time, they are even more nervous. Not only ICBC, but every bank is the same. It is a risk warning issued by the People's Bank of China. MSCAI also called to inquire. She is very concerned about the mainland's real estate industry. To put it bluntly, she is not just concerned about their money. Moreover, our company is not in this situation. I asked around and found that all real estate companies are in this situation. Life is very difficult. We just want to cash in and sell some land. There are no other companies to take over, Tan Shahen said. Lu Ligan smiled bitterly and said, that means he was forced to a dead end. Absolutely, Tan Shahen said, since there is no other way to increase open source, let's see if there is any way to reduce expenditures. The result of the discussion between the three people is that it is almost impossible to reduce expenditures. Now the government requires various companies not to send workers home on vacation. There are dozens of sales offices across the country, including sales gentlemen and sales ladies. There are nearly 1,000 people, plus the staff of various branches. It is impossible for them to say that they will not respond to the government's call, send them all home on vacation, or simply fire them. Although at this time, laying off a large number of employees is the most reasonable thing to do, it will make them the target of criticism and make their company's credibility plummet. The epidemic is not a reason to stop work at a construction site, and at every construction site, as long as it continues and reaches the amount of work stipulated in the contract, you must pay the amount that should be paid. If this is the case, their current financial situation will not last more than 2 months. For them, the most terrifying thing is that they don't know when the epidemic will end. Judging from the current situation, there seems to be no possibility of ending in a short period of time. If so, the completed projects will bring them its not wealth, but more houses that no one cares about. There is no way to reduce expenditures, so we can only look back and continue to think about whether there is a way to increase revenue. Tan Shahen stared at the newspaper in front of her, which contained daily epidemic reports and large-scale reports on medical staff. She said that she still had to find a way to make sales happen. If sales failed, the rest would be empty talk. "Why do you get up? Shall we buy it ourselves?" Lu Ligan asked. "Discount Tan Shahan said. Lu Ligan and Lao Tan were both surprised. Lu Ligan smiled and said, "Didn't you just veto the discount sale?" "This discount is different from a sale," Tan Shahan said. "I'm talking about a specific discount sale." As Tan Shahan spoke, she thought of the limited time discount sales she had done at the Ben Mushin store. "What's the difference?" Lao Tan asked. "Let's hold an event. In order to pay tribute to the medical staff who are fighting on the front line of epidemic prevention, all of our company's properties will be sold at a 15% discount to the front-line medical staff, as long as they can provide their identity documents." As Tan Shahan spoke, Lu Ligan and Lao Tan's eyes lit up. Lao Tan said, "Yes, that's right. In this case, those who have already bought it will be too embarrassed to make trouble. Are you embarrassed to compete with these medical staff? We are here. This is a special operation, and it is indeed not an ordinary discount." Lu Ligan smiled and said, "Very good. I thought I was a profiteer, but I didn't expect there was someone more evil than me." "You," Tan Shahan cursed. Their entire company immediately took action, placing advertisements in local newspapers and hanging banners at the sales office. Their advertisements attracted many interviews from media reporters, who all called them conscientious developers. In this way, they also attracted other people who were staying at home but wanted to buy a house. Their sales department bucked the trend and it has to become popular, and by the time other real estate developers wake up and start to follow suit, they have already taken the lead. Now that there is no danger of bankruptcy, Lu Ligan returns to his old ways and begins his days of miraculous success. It's almost May. Every year, May is the best-selling month for summer clothes. But in May of this year, Zhang Chen knew from reading the newspaper that the epidemic will never end, and the inventory in the factory is getting more and more. "Many," the distribution center and Zhang Chen said, "there are already more than 40 million. Zhang Chen felt miserable, but even so, the general agents kept calling Zhang Chen, telling him that some even begged him to increase the exchange rate. Zhang Chen could only refusing flatly, and raising the price a little higher would mean that their inventory would increase, and based on past experience, after May, summer clothing sales will begin to decline. This was not the only thing that troubled Zhang Chen. Hagen called him and told him that the merchants in the market had also begun to make trouble. The reason was that since late March, there had been fewer and fewer customers in the market. And now even more so, except for business owners, there is not a single customer that I see every day. Merchants also know that the epidemic will not get better in the short term, and their business this year has already been devastated, so they are demanding rent reductions and exemptions. There were too many merchants involved in the trouble, and Hagen had no choice. He told Zhang Chen that not only their market, but all the markets in Hangzhou were making trouble, and Sijiking's place had already started making trouble. After hearing this, Zhang Chen could only smile bitterly. His own clothing business was already like this, let alone those merchants in Sijiking, especially those who promised 100% exchange. Zhang Chen went to the M-Zone and negotiated with representatives of the merchants. The result was that the rent would be waived for 3 months. That is, when the lease expired, it would be extended for another 3 months without compensation. In these 3 months, Zhang Chen lost money. Nearly 40 million in rent. This is not the end yet. Zhang Chen knows that if the epidemic is prolonged, merchants will definitely make similar requests again. By then, he will be in a difficult position and will have to agree to their requests again. When they have losses, they know to look for themselves. Who can they turn to for their own losses? Zhang Chen felt like crying without tears. The matter in the M-Zone had just been settled when Ziajun called and told Zhang Chen that the second guy was about to start a fight with them. Those who rented the warehouse blocked the second guy in the office and refused to let him out, saying that he would not agree to the request. And won't let him go. Zhang Chen knew without asking that the so-called request must also be to reduce the rent. Most of the goods rented in their logistics warehouse are sent to major supermarkets in Shanghai. The supermarkets are also empty now and there is no business. They went to the supermarkets to argue. The supermarket is very simple, it lets you exit, and once you exit, it is impossible to go back in. If you can't find any bargains in supermarkets, it's easy to find them in warehouses. Zhang Chen hurriedly said to Xiaojun, "Go over right away and tell the second-rate guy that no matter what, don't do anything. Do you understand? You should also make it clear to the tenants. I will come over right away and I will solve this problem." "Okay, instructor, I'll go talk to them right away." Xiaojun followed the second guy and called Zhang Chen, not Mr. Zhang, but also the instructor. Zhang Chen got into his car and drove to Songjiang immediately. At this time, Zhang Chen understood a word very well, that is, riddled with holes. An epidemic had already made him riddled with holes. Thank you Hoo for your monthly vote. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone.